Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Servant Leaders Speak for the 26th of July, 2019. It is good to have you here today, another live, fresh show. I am Ali McIntosh, the host. This is our final show for the week, and I appreciate you joining the broadcast today. We will be about for 1 hour with our guest on a very intellectual discussion about education. Like I said earlier, yesterday's broadcast, that we have Bahamians living across the globe, and they are always joining the discussion, or they are always joining us on live, and they are always interested in what we can do to fix the nation. And in fact, one of our guests is online with us today. It is Dr. Donald McCartney. He's a Bahamian living abroad, and he is going to be our guest today. This is Grateful Friday. I don't know about you, but I am very grateful to be alive for today. I'm grateful to have intelligence and cognizant skills, reasoning, ability to walk, exercise, coordinate. For me, that cannot be taken for granted. At the end of I'm going to tell you a story before I get into our discussion today. At the end of 2006, I spent 2 days fighting for my life. The doctors had diagnosed me with viral encephalitis, which is irreparable brain damage. They had done everything they could, and they rendered that my brain was fried and I would not wake up. But I woke up with no signs of damages, and I'm here today. I'm on the broadcast, which I coordinate, and I am thankful. And since 2016, I have contested an election, edited 2 books, rewrote another book, organized the Josiah Institute along with some of my colleagues. So to be able to live without the trappings of which irreparable brain damage looks like, I am indeed grateful. Every time I tell this story, I have to testify that God has been good to me. And every time I tell this experience, I can't help but shout that thanks be to God, because He has been good to me. So today, it's Grateful Friday. And so if you have any testimony of the same, you can share it on the thread. But we're going to have our guest come in just in a few minutes. But let's whisper a prayer, and then we're going to bring Dr. Donald McCartney on the line, audio, and we're going to have this discussion. So let's whisper a word of prayer on this Grateful Friday. Father, we thank you for another day. We thank you for having the ability to do all of the things that we want to do. I am extremely grateful because I know you have brought me this far by faith, and I am here to continue your work. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Bless the guests as they come on, and we will have a wonderful discussion in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me. Dr. McCartney is online. He is on. We can see him on the thread. We're going to bring him on audio in just a few seconds. Thank you, Navar Smith, for joining us today. And we're going to be having a wonderful discussion with Dr. McCartney. I think we will try to bring him on so that he can join us with this discussion. Dr. McCartney Dr. McCartney, are you there? Just give us a second to make sure that you are on the speaker and we can hear you. Ezra Pratt, we love having you join us today. Dr. McCartney, are you there? Dr. McCartney, are you on the line with us now? Hello, Dr. Donald McCartney. Dr. McCartney, can you hear us? Hello? We're going to get him on the line, but Dr. McCartney is a very intellectual person. He has been very much involved in the work in public service in the Bahamas. He's been a teacher. Oh, there he goes. We're going to have him on in just a few. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Am I going through to your?
Yes, you're live. In fact, I have you on video. Is it all right? We can put you on video. Hello, Dr. McCartney. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. It's good to have you online. I was about to say something about your wonderful experience, but I know that you've been a teacher, you've been a public servant, you've done many things in your 50 years in government service. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. I think our audience can hear you.
All right. If you that's fine. I'm here. I'm hearing you.
Good. Then I wanted to ask the first question, which is probably tell us something about yourself. I know you are from Grand Bahama. You live in the United States, but how did you make that change? And what was your work in the Bahamas before you transitioned?
Yes, I can.
Yes, go ahead and tell us about a little about yourself. Doc, can you hear me? Let me hang up and try to get you back one more time. We're probably having a more difficulty with the video than we would have with the audio.
Actually, I'm really a Nassau boy.
Okay.
Who transitioned to Grand Bahama in the early 60s. Yes, I'm hearing you and I'm speaking to you.
Okay, go ahead. We can hear you. Fine. I can hear you wonderfully.
All right.
What did you say you were a Nassau boy? How did you transition to Grand Bahama? Dr. McCartney? Can you hear us?
I think you're getting things that I would have said before, sort of a delayed.
Oh, what I can do, let me hang up and call you back on the audio, because I think that the delay...
After I finish in New Providence, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Dr. McCartney, what I will do, let me put you on...
I certainly can.
Yeah, but I'm okay, tell us about your transition from Nassau to Grand Bahama. We are having difficulty with this call. We're going to try to get him on the audio instead of the video. It is it will be a little bit more easier for us to understand the conversation. I think because of the delay we're having, the difficulty is he's hearing us, but when we hear him, it's after the fact. So
I was finishing high school. I finished high school in 19. Yes.
I think we're having a delay, and I think that is the problem. But I am on today, as we get started, as we get ready to speak again with Dr. McCartney. Dr. McCartney, just give me a second. I'll get you back on the line. Yeah, we're going to get you right back on the line. The audio is causing a delay, and the video is causing a delay, and that is what's the problem. We're going to get this together shortly. We're going to be able to do that which we need in order to get the work done, to have the conversation that we want to have today. We've just started. We plan to have at least 1 hour of conversation with Dr. McCartney as he talk about education, some of his concerns. And if you go to the Josiah Institute for Leadership Facebook page, there is an article that talks about why is there not enough males in the educational system. That is the basis of our discussion. That is the basis of our discussion. And that is going to cause the conversation that we are having is going to be basically initially about that, and then we're going to talk about all the other things that are important in the discussion on education in the Bahamas. As we said, Dr. McCartney is a long-time educator, a long-time civil servant. He has spent more than 50 years or close to 50 years in the public service, and so we know that his conversation is going to bring light on a lot of things we're having. So right now what I am doing is trying to get him back online with audio so that we can hear his discussion. We were having a little technical difficulty. We're getting these things in sync. We're learning some of these issues that are happening with the technology, and so we're going to have all of these in place. Now, Dr. McCartney is going to come back online. Yes, Dr. McCartney, we're going to have to start over. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Dr. McCartney, I think with the delays, if you're listening to Facebook, it is a couple of seconds delayed. So you're going to have to listen to the conversation where we're talking on the telephone.
Yes.
You could hear that? There is a delay. So you have to talk to me on the telephone, and we will put the feedback on later so you will be able to hear it.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Let's just talk from here. Let's get back to the fact
Yes,
that...
I'm hearing you. I've been hearing you all along. I don't know what the problem is on that end.
Okay, what the problem is Facebook actually has a delay. So there is a delay in the transmission. For if you're hearing it on Facebook, it's delayed.
Oh, because see,
So we will have to actually speak to one another and not listen to the delay on Facebook.
Hello?
Yes. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, because see, I was hooked up for my Facebook thing with my speakers on my head.
Oh, you have the...
So as a consequence,
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I was not getting you direct, because I was trying to speak with you via using my headphones.
Okay.
So I could hear everything quite clearly.
But we can talk together now.
I guess if you can hear me now, I'm hearing you, so I guess I can watch your gesticulations.
Yes.
As you
Okay.
speak and hear your voice, okay?
Okay, let's go with this conversation. I am saying that you've spent more than 50 years in government service in the Bahamas. You have been a teacher, you've been a civil servant. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, the thing about it is, I started teaching at the age of 16 going on 17 back in 1963. And I would have spent perhaps the greater part of my career in the field of teaching and in several positions within the public service of the Bahamas. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
Lost you. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you great. I can hear you wonderfully.
Okay, wonderful. I have had a checkered career, but no matter that checkered career, the fact of the matter is my first love is education.
Okay.
I presently, like I said, I live in Florida, moving from Grand Bahama in 2013.
Okay.
And I made that move because I came to the realization that there was a lack of appreciation, in my view, that for the talents, for the qualifications, for the experiences that I brought to the table of life. And I believe I make this point right away by saying that unless and until we as Bahamians or in the Bahamas understand the importance of using all of the talents that we have to build a nation, to develop the nation, we will continue to go around the promised land in circles and never acquire that land that has been promised to us. And I feel that what we need really is leadership that is unifying, that will make all people feel a part of the equation of nation building. And until we are mature enough, I think, to do that, then we will continue to be where we are, with people not being satisfied, people not feeling included. And so this is what the discussion is about. And I think I will now yield to you.
Do you think that is why a lot of people who leave the Bahamas, they feel that way? You think that's the primary reason?
I can't speak for them per se. I can only speak perhaps to the experience that I've had with those who have spoken to me. And for the most part, the persons to whom I have spoken have expressed the same sentiments that I've just expressed. And I don't know whether the leadership in the country understands and knows the number of Bahamians who are packing up and leaving and going to diverse places, thus robbing the Bahamas of talent that could be used, I think, to help build the country.
So you are looking at that as I know the statistics talking about the amount of educated persons who leave the Bahamas, causing a brain drain. What does that say for the future of the Bahamas?
Well, if it continues at the rate it is going, I think the future, the impact on that on the future of the Bahamas, I think is very clear, and I think even Ray Charles would be able to see what that impact will be. Because you see, you're talking about building a country, you're talking about the Bahamas being the greatest little country on God's earth, but at the same time, if your people are leaving, if the talented people are leaving, then the country will not move forward. You can have a 10-year plan, you can have a 30-year plan, you can have a 50-year plan for the country, but if you do not have the talent within the country, when you have to start importing talent, then I think you will begin to appreciate the talent that you have, and that you will make efforts, I think, to retain that talent within the country.
Wow. Yeah, that is important. Now, you did an article about males in the educational system. What was the basis of that article? I know you published it online with the Josiah Institute for Leadership and in other groups on Facebook. What is the basis of that article? What do you believe is the need in terms of male teachers in the educational system?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I happen to be reading one of the dailies that a friend sends to me online every morning. I think it was the Nassau Tribune, or the Tribune. And this lady, who apparently was a teacher, spoke to the issue of not having sufficient males in the classroom in the Bahamas education system. And so that sparked in me a curiosity, and I started doing some research, and then I began, to write. And of course, it is a fact that there aren't sufficient males in the classrooms in the education system in the Bahamas. And so the question is, why is that the case? In fact, I don't think it's the Bahamas is the only country, but I think our concern is not for other countries. Our concern is for the Bahamas, because too many times when we have a problem in the Bahamas, one of the solutions, one of the answers proffered is, well, it's happening in other countries. Well, all well and good. That's for those other countries to deal with it. So we've got to deal with the problem as it faces us. And I think it's clear when you look at the amount of crime that's being committed by our young men, it is evidence that there is a paucity of strong male leadership. And when I say strong male leadership, I'm not speaking about brutal leadership. I'm not talking about beating people. I'm not talking about, brutalizing.
It's mentorship kind of.
I'm talking about men of character, men of vision, men who are honest, men who are fathers in the true sense of the word. We need to have this model for young men to follow. And we must understand that, unfortunately, by the very makeup of the Bahamian society, sometimes the only real man that a boy or even a girl for that matter sees would be that male teacher in the classroom, in the education system.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes, go ahead, please.
No, I mean, just in your continuance, EJ on the thread is saying that most males think teaching is a woman's job. Is that what their thinking is?
Well, I that may be very well. I don't know whether you have statistics to know that men are thinking that way, but I think it goes a bit deeper than that. If a man is the breadwinner for his family, if a man is head of household, then it's obvious to me that that man has got to be able to earn a living that would assist him in providing adequately for his family.
Yes.
Bearing in mind that no system, no job can pay any of us what we're really worth. But I think if you look at the average male in the Bahamas in education, like perhaps his female partners in education, they're not being paid adequately enough to encourage them to remain in the profession. All right.
Should we do something about that?
I mean, men who look upon education as a woman's job. Well, we've got to move away from that, because as far as I'm concerned, it takes men and women to build a well-developed society, to bring up well-rounded children. And so if we keep this demarcation of what's a woman's job, what's a man's job, etc., then where are the children in all of this? The children fall through the cracks. The important thing is to realize and to understand that much of what we're seeing in the behavior of our young men comes about because they've not had a male figure to model for him what a man should do and what a man should say and what a man should be like. You see?
Yeah.
So I think that's a part of the problem. Now, the system now has to begin to understand that they need to look at why is it that there's a paucity of males within the system, and what can be done to bring males back into the system.
What do you suggest?
All right. We can wring our hands in frustration, but that's not solving the problem. The fact is we're losing our young men exponentially. Look at the statistics. Look at what we see every morning on the news. Who is that we see being locked up? Who is that we see being sentenced to prison terms? It is essentially, for the most part, our young men and our young black men, for that matter. So we do need to find a way to have men in their lives who would model for them what a man ought to be. Now, that's not to say that that would solve the problem, because no matter what you do in any situation, there will be those who will go their way, but at least you have that safety net.
What about
if they go their own way and go astray, there's that safety net to bring them back into the fold.
Dr. McCartney, you have been in the educational system all the way back, as you say, from you were 16 years old, you began teaching. And the persons online is supporting your argument. They think you are right on point and very intelligent about this discussion. But you've been in the classroom 50, 40 years ago. Does the educational system have the mandate to prepare people in regards to going forward, knowing what's happening in the country? Have it changed much regarding what we inherited from Mother England and what we have now? Do you think it has changed, and does it have the mandate to prepare people in the community?
Well, it depends on what we mean by change. We hear a lot about reform in education, reform in the public service. And when you examine oftentimes what this reform is, it really has to do with physical changes, providing buildings, providing furniture, providing more money, which are important. But when we look at reform, are we really reforming the system at the gut level? Are we really reforming the system where it matters most?
Okay.
When reform begins, we've got to begin in the hearts and the minds of the people. People must feel and see the need for the reform. And if you're going to reform something or reform the system, you can't with those who will benefit from or those who will offer the services being ignorant of what they're supposed to do. All hands basically have to be on deck when we talk about reform in the system. And if you really truly today examine our system, yes, there have been some changes. There have been some what I would call cosmetic changes.
Okay.
All right? Cosmetic changes. But have we changed the hearts and the minds of the people? Have we created in our system a love for learning? Have we created a love for lifelong learning? Do we have a people who have a desire, an earnest desire to want to learn? I'm not just talking about being educated. All right,
Dr. McCartney.
I can be as educated as I want, but am I committed to learning?
Dr.
Am I committed to learning for the rest of my life?
True.
Do I have a love for learning?
Dr. McCartney.
That would be true reform. Yes.
Do you think, though, we have not put in place the kind of agenda. I know they teach you math and English and literature and science. All of these are basic elements. But what about the social study aspect, the aspect of how the country works? Is that an important part to cause people to have a greater thirst for education?
Well, now you're hitting at the heart of what true reform is all about.
Okay.
You mentioned social. You said social studies, but the word that kicked out for me was social.
Okay.
Social. Now, let's go back a moment. Let's step back in time for a moment. In 1967, we claimed that we had the advent of majority rule.
Okay.
All right? That was political, perhaps if you want to use the word reform and use it very gingerly, very carefully, that was an effort at political reform. Now, but did we have social reform?
I would think that should carry over.
Did we have economic reform?
Okay.
Did we have educational reform that was concomitant with the coming into majority rule? Then we went into independence. How well did we educate our people for the advent of independence?
Wow, yes.
Were they prepared for it? You see? See, we had all of the outward trappings of majority rule. We had all of the outward trappings of independence. But did we engender in our people a love for country, a love for learning, a love for education, a love for self, a love for one's neighbor? You understand?
Yes.
See, we've lost in the social contract.
Do you think then, could I put a question here, just as, on the way you're going, do you think that the education system, well, two questions, have the mandate to prepare people for their role in governance and whether it can be done to involve the people of the Bahamas in the governing process? And we're talking about that social, have we done enough to make sure that the people know what's happening?
You have a problem. Remember that education, like social education, like economic education, is essentially a part of the political process.
Okay.
And it depends on whether the political directorate is prepared to allow for the true education of the people. I think we are in a situation where administration after administration has not understood the fact that uneducated people, socially developed people, and economically developed people are the easiest people
to deal with,
to lead,
yes,
to govern.
Okay. They know the facts.
And so if you look at what has been happening within the society, in fact, you have an institution in the heart of Over the Hill.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And you perhaps would have grown up, I presume, in that area. I'm presuming this.
That I grew up in this area?
And if you look, I said, I'm presuming that you also grew up in that area.
No, I didn't grow up in this area. I grew up in Angleton, which is, I guess, down the street.
That's close, but that's
close enough.
That's
okay.
Close enough. That's close enough. The point I'm making is, when you look at those areas, how much true development, how much true change has been made in those areas?
That is a concern for me, Dr. McCartney, before you go on, that we have, as you said, the political directorate, and I believe that they have failed entirely because after 50 years, 46 years of independence, 52 years of majority rule, these neighborhoods has basically not changed. There are still outside toilets in Angleton and in Baintown. There are still dilapidated houses. I mean, what have we done to educate the people to go to the next level? An education that you're talking about is the basis of this. And we've got A.J. Stewart from Canada, and he is on fire in regards to what you're saying, that it is true. And he is a young man. And he is saying that the country has failed us, failed the male, failed the family in regards to this. The opportunity is not there. What else should they do now in order to take us to where we must go.
But you see, the problem is that, remember now, whatever we teach, whatever we give to people comes from the politics of the situation. So it depends on what the political directorate wants you to have. And if their being in office is continued through your being ignorant, then that's what you will get.
You think it's intentional?
But I have to believe that perhaps it is intentional, because when you look at the fact that, as I said, we built buildings that we don't maintain too well.
Okay.
We have educated people that we don't pay too well.
Okay.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
We played with this whole business of education, but we've not developed within our people a love for learning, which is the basis of having a good education. And if you don't have the love for learning, then education goes out of the window. Concomitant with that has to be a love for country. And at the end of the day, every citizen has to see that there's something in the country for him or her.
Yes, opportunities.
And to the extent that our people do not see anything, perhaps for the most part, in the country for them and their progeny and their children, then they look elsewhere. The young man who's on now from Canada, perhaps is where he is because, again, he understands what I'm trying to say.
Yes, he's agreeing with you.
That you find that our leadership wants to be promulgated.
Let me ask you a question, because he said the same thing. EJ did say the same thing, that some things they don't want us to have and they don't want us to know. So they have not made an effort to take us down that road. But let me ask you something as we go just a little political. Usually when a party is elected, they believe that that is it. They are in charge and that's the only element of the government. What is the inherent danger of us giving one party wide majority as we have done over and over? What is the dilemma that we're facing and what is the danger in that regard?
I don't have all of the answers.
I know you know some. What do you recommend? Tell me.
See, let me make a point that might appear not to be related to the conversation, but it is very much related.
Okay.
When you look at the makeup of our government, there's nothing in there that speaks to where the people are as a part of governance. All right?
Okay.
You look at the chart, if you look at the chart of governance, you'll see Her Majesty the Queen, then you see the Governor General, then you would see the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and then you see the House of Assembly, and it goes down the line, and then the people, I think, are shoved under all of that.
Okay, somewhere.
We need to flip that. We need to see if we properly educate our people, then we can flip that over. It is emanating from the people.
The people has to know. They have a right to know.
All of those persons come from the people. And the people must be a part of governance. But how can I be a part of governance when I don't understand how the government works? Wow.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And in many instances, even some of those in government do not truly understand how government works. So what I'm saying is people are kept in the dark, people are kept in ignorance, and as a consequence, you can't govern them.
So we have to teach.
When you don't understand, you can't be governed.
We have to teach them the Constitution.
I'm going to see and I'm going to know what is good that you're doing. I'm going to know what is bad that you're doing and critique you when you're doing badly and to elevate you when you're doing what is right. And so what has happened is people have been kept ignorant to the extent that they just don't understand how they're being governed.
I've talked about this a lot, about teaching the Constitution. I've started this broadcast for that particular point, that people understand what their government is doing on their behalf, for them, and doing to them. Because when a government does not make an effort to teach people what's happening, it becomes a problem for people if they do not know how the government is being run. So they just go ahead and vote, and that is it. So we have to find...
You've got to go back further than that.
Okay.
we have to know who we are as a people. We have to know our origins.
Very interesting.
We want to know
question.
what was the contributions that our forefathers made in Africa. We got to appreciate that 85 to 90% of the Bahamian people are from the African diaspora. And have we truly educated our people to understand and to appreciate the contributions that Mother Africa would have made to us as a people and to the world? See, we're like a three-legged stool where we've lost one of the legs.
Wow, that's very heavy.
And so as a consequence, we're always limping from one stage to the next.
Wow.
So before we even get to the Constitution or concomitantly with teaching about the Constitution, you got to bring our social development, our historical development into play. Because we are holistic beings.
Let me, I have two young men on there, and I want to say hello to Caleb. He's in Georgia. He's the son of a Bahamian. We've got AJ in Canada, and AJ was just saying that the opportunity provided for him after going to Canada for such a short time, funding, permanent residency, all of this happens when a country can understand the worth of an individual. And I do believe that it is important that we understand, and you said it very clearly, because we sometimes do not know who we are, and the political directorate has played games with us as a people, that we don't want to encourage people to know who you are, the power that you have as a citizen. Then we have, to a great degree, we have failed our population, we have failed our populace, and we're not doing what we need to in terms of educating them. What about the way forward, Dr. McCartney? The National Development Plan, we talked about that. People have spoken about it. But do you think it's wide enough? Do you think it's including everybody or just a selected few?
Well, but you see, Ms. McIntosh, I hear you about the development plan. I have heard about the 10-year plan and the 30-year plan and so on and so forth. But I don't know we need perhaps a 10-year plan. I think we need a 5-year plan with a view to developing it further as we go along in each administration.
Okay.
But what is sadly is there's a lack of continuity in the Bahamas. In fact, when you look at our system of governance, when one party wins, it's like two ships passing in the night. One party is busy upstairs in those places up shredding and throwing things away, and the other side is knocking at the door trying to get in. I think we need to have a policy, first of all, that when there's a political change made, there should be a policy where the principles of the outgoing and the incoming meet, not pass each other in the night.
Like they do in the U.S. There's a time of transition.
Yeah, how could there be continuity when really I am hiding what I did and you don't know what I did? How do you have continuity? No matter how many plans you have, if we continue on this trend of when the election is over, the fellows who won come in, and the fellows who won come in through the front door, and the fellows who have lost go through the back door. Yeah, there's no continuity.
It's so adversarial, you think?
Handing over.
Do you think it's just adversarial in regards to how we conduct elections, how we transition the country from one? I said, do you think it's adversarial in terms of not only how we conduct election, but how we transition in terms of the handover to the next government?
Yes, I mean, let's be honest. It is adversarial. It is what it is. It is adversarial, but at a point, the adversarial role has to cease for a bit.
Okay.
To have a decent transition from one administration to the next.
For governance, not just politics.
But I think what we're also forgetting is a part of governance. We talk about the people being a part of governance. We must understand that governance in the country involves a number of parties. There's the party that has won the election. There's the party that would have lost the election. There is the public service, which is a part of governance, because they are the ones who would be made responsible for the carrying out of the policies of the government of the day. The Governor General is a part of the process. but more importantly, the people are a part of the process.
Okay.
And we have not educated the people, because if we educate the people, then we're going to have educated members of parliament, hopefully, going to parliament who would understand the system of governance of which they're a part, Ms. McIntosh.
Well, Dr.
And we
McCarthy.
see it time and time again. We see it time and time again that we have people in parliament. In fact, we don't have representative government in the country, you know.
Yeah, we're aware. But you think, Dr. McCartney, in fact, the Josiah Institute for Leadership in Public Policy was created just for that. That not only we educate the people or the politician who is going to governance regarding the system he is in, but the people, so that they understand that this system, how it is worked, how it should be working, and what is their participant, what is their place in the program.
How dare you educate the people? That's not what they want.
Oh, they don't want that.
You understand where I'm coming from? See, you are a private contractor now.
Okay.
Who perhaps is coming to upset the apple cart by turning things topsy-turvy, by having people come in who will begin this process of educating the people. Now, the question is, do we as a government, because the people are a part of the government, do we want this type of approach?
We got to ask the next generation, EJ, do we want this kind of approach? And he is agreeing with you. So it's clear that the next generation, Dr. McCartney, is very much in need and desire to have a more ordered government, because a lot of them have gone off to school. They have gone to the United States, to Canada, to Europe. They see how governments run. It surely doesn't run like how we do it here. And so I believe that the next generation wants a better kind of ordering in the government.
You're talking about generations.
Yes.
And that is a pet peeve of mine, because I don't like this idea that we take all of the institutional knowledge and throw it away.
Okay, we can't do
we
that.
say, give it all to the young people. See, my attitude is, at the table, at the national table, where we're talking about carrying the country forward, we need all persons who are mentally and physically sound at that table.
At that table, I agree.
And that includes the young people that we would have sent abroad. That includes the people who would be among the more mature people in the country, to help to not dissipate or throw away what we call the institutional knowledge. When you purchase a computer, one of the first things you want to know is how much memory does it have.
Yes.
And if it doesn't have the adequate or requisite memory, you don't want to buy that computer. Now, we can bring in all the young people that we want, and that's wonderful. But what happens to the institutional memory is going to help them to have something to build on and to make the change.
Well, do you know?
Simply saying, there has to be that respect for what the young people bring to the table and what the experienced and the more mature people bring to the table.
On that note,
in that manner, we can begin the discussion on how to build the country, where there's respect for what each other bring to the table of development, the national development of the country.
Dr. McCartney, I quite agree with you. I mean, EJ is agreeing with you in regards to this. So sometimes I think people are short-sighted when they feel they want to put some older people out to pasture. As long as you have the intellectual ability to contribute like you are doing today, and we did not even say what your age is, it doesn't matter if you have the skills to bring to the table.
I would dare one person to come into my face and say to me, it's their time now. And my response would be, you better leave my face, because as long as I'm alive and my brain is working and I'm healthy, it is my time until I go to the grave.
You know, there's another.
I'm not going to lay down and play dead. The point is, it has to be respect.
Respect
is key.
Listen to this. There's another point. What people don't understand about the Senate. The Senate's supposed to be elders, right? People who know, who have the experience. We are putting people who are barely 30 in the Senate, who doesn't know anything about the nation. And so their contribution is short-sighted. And I think that as a nation, we have to consider in reconstructing the nation that there has to be a reordering. That we appreciate the youth, what the youth bring.
What we have done, we have bastardized. You see, you always hear this this bit about the Westminster system.
Yes.
Whenever it is convenient, you hear the Westminster system being thrown out at you. Now, sometimes I wonder, well, of course, many of the people don't understand what the Westminster system is about, and God forbid, and God knows that some of the people who govern us don't understand what the Westminster system is about.
My Lord.
But what we have done, we have bastardized the work of the Senate, as we have bastardized the office of Governor General. We politicized the office of Governor General. Every single person who would have held that office of Governor General post 1973 have been a political operative.
Okay.
Every one of them. The most centrist of all of the Governor Generals would have perhaps been Sir Gerald Cash.
Yes.
He would have been the most centrist of all of the Governor
Generals. You were quite correct. I remember.
Would have had their hands in politics. And it seems to me, until we get to understand and get the political director to understand that there are other people out there who are able to become Governor General who are not politicians.
And do the work properly. Yes, I agree.
Yes. Okay? And the Senate, now the Senate is supposed to be actually like the House of Lords in Great Britain. That being the case, that's where you get your seasoned, wise persons.
Yes.
Who probably would have given public service in the true sense, who would have made indelible contributions to the development of the society. These would be the people you put in your upper house. You know, yes, you want to bring along perhaps some young people so they can be guided.
Okay.
But throwing young people in there, see, it becomes a political game. And young people should not allow themselves, they get all caught up in the pageantry. Instead of what I can contribute. It's the pageantry. In fact, you see sometimes when they're debating a particular issue like the budget, they put it out there, oh, I'm giving my speech today, so they want the whole world to hear the speech. Well, it's not the speech, it's the content. It is your heart. It is to show whether you have the people's interest at heart or the party's interest. And I said to you all earlier, we do not have representative government in the Bahamas.
That's another thing we have to fix.
We saw essence of this in recent times when members stood up on behalf of their people, as they said, and I say as they said because I don't know if they spoke to their people, but they stood up for what they consider to be for their people, and they were knocked down because they didn't follow the party line. Well, where does the electorate get into this? How does their concerns get heard? If it's not true, the persons that they send to Parliament to represent them.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. McCartney. You spoke about Gerald Cash, who was, you call it a centrist Governor General, right? What if there was a centrist Governor General now, during this time when the country is the revelation of all this matter of conflict of interest? What would be the work of a Governor General regarding that? The call for the Prime Minister to resign, for the Member of Parliament who was involved to resign, the implication or the complicit implication of wrongdoing by the collective responsibility of a cabinet. What would a centrist Governor General do at this point?
Well, first of all, the Governor General has to understand his role besides the pomp and the pageantry.
Okay.
And the Governor General is supposed to be up above the political fray.
Okay.
And every Governor General has had an excellent, since we're still tied into the British system, they've had an excellent model in that you never hear the Queen out there saying anything that's politically inclined. And she has what you call the power of advice and consent. And I feel that any Governor General of the Bahamas who has his or her salt, when they see things going on, while they won't go out and make any public expressions, they should summon the Prime Minister.
Yes, you told me that is the role. That is the role of a Governor General.
Yes, and give him the kind of sage advice. See, when you put the political pundits in there, there's always, of course, we live in a country where everybody is political, but for God's sake, when you put someone who's been right in this thing, front line, in the cabinet, in there, from his party, what in the hell you expect him or her to say?
Why?
What?
Because I mean,
in the last instance, the present holder of the post announced that he announced his appointment before Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, the broker protocol. Interesting.
Oh, Lord Jesus, you don't know. We are in serious trouble. We don't realize the trouble that's been. And then you see, we talk with the young people. Well, the young people are not seeing any examples for them to follow. So when they come behind India, they're going to do a repeat of what they saw.
That is the reason, Dr. McCartney, that I have fought for the length of time that I have, even though I haven't gotten the level of support with the Bahamas Constitution Party. But I do believe that if we're going to leave a country for our next generation, we have to make sure that things are ordered as it should be. I do believe the young people deserve better. I do believe that they want better. And what you were saying today is giving information, and I know, and I'm going to have you on again, so that we can say how we must reorder the nation, how we must reconstruct the nation, how the education, and it should be done not only by civil society institutions, by political institutions, but also by the media, in terms of causing the people to understand what the process should be of governance, and it should not just be a salacious education, but it should be just politically driven.
Honesty. We've got to start with the honesty of heart.
Oh, wow.
The honesty of heart. What we have in too many instances are persons whose heart is not truly in for and with the people. That is where we are.
That's the biggest problem.
There's no reason. I'm not making an advertisement for myself, but there's no reason that I should be living in South Florida at this point in time. But I'm here because the fellows in government on both sides tried to destroy me, and I did them nothing, but yet they feel this need, and then people come in your face and they tell you gotta let it go. Well, yeah, indeed, perhaps so. But why don't you go and tell the fellas who are perpetrating what they're doing to let it go?
Listen to these statistics, and this is just something I'm hearing over the last day or two. There is 800 Bahamians who actually sought refugees in other countries. This is according to the United Nations. 800 Bahamians in 2018. The second statistics is more than 1,600 Bahamians went to the United States and decided not to come back. They overstayed their visa. So it means, obviously, if opportunity was open based on whoever wins the government, then I don't think Bahamians would be running out of the country. So the fact that these persons have run out of the country.
There was a time when Bahamians balked at going and leaving the. People didn't leave the Bahamas to go anyplace else. If they happen to have gone, I think if they happen to have gone to school, perhaps you have people who would not have returned, and that's happening even now in greater numbers.
In greater numbers.
People are going off to school, coming off to school in the United States, and they're not planning to come back.
And some parents are telling their children not to return. It's very sad.
But I had to tell my daughters the same thing, because with a son like McCartney, they weren't going to go anywhere.
Well, I have experienced.
They weren't going to go anywhere.
I agree with you.
Let me tell you something, Ms. McIntosh. I stood up for this country at a time as a boy when it was dangerous, and that can be a subject for another day. Okay?
Okay.
That's going to be a subject for another day. In fact, I'm in the process of preparing the manuscript for my third book, and it has to do with all of my postings that I would have made over a period of time. In fact, I'm now up to 380 odd pages.
Wow.
And there's a whole lot in there that speaks powerfully to some of the things that we've skirted today. I mean, we've not really even touched on education.
We must speak truth to power.
Even with this thought, when the government changed in 2017, I made every attempt to reach the present holder of the post of Minister of Education, to have a chat with him and to share my experience and to help him. And essentially, to cut it to the chase, the man told me he didn't have any time for me.
Well, that, as you says, is a story for another day. I have many stories regarding the same kind of situation, and so I know, Dr. McCartney, that one day we will talk again about this. Probably one day I'll come to the United States and we can talk live on camera, and so I know that there are a lot of those things are happening. As we wrap up, what are your final thoughts about how do we go forward as a nation? And what do we do in regards to bridging the gap? We keep hearing that, bridging the gap to the next generation. But what is bridging the gap?
Well, what we need is fundamental honesty in government. We want true transparency in government. But I want my people to understand that you will not get that unless you yourself are prepared to adhere to those principles. Because every person that ascends to a post in government, be it the Governor General or the Prime Minister, and right down the line, they come from among us. And so the things that they fail to do and the things that they do are reflections of us. And so you can't just point your fingers at them and them alone.
Okay.
You've got to see yourself through them. And it is, to me, at the end of the day, it raises the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Who influenced who to do what and not to do what they're supposed to do? We haven't had a hand in it. Because there are too many of us who want to ride on the gravy train, or we've been promised a ride on the gravy train. And so therefore, we ourselves are not honest, but yet we want to have honest practitioners in government.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful.
True reform,
yes.
True reform of any sort begins in the minds and the hearts of those who are speaking of reform, and they must sell it to the minds and the hearts of those who will benefit from the reform. It's a change to it's a national look at attitudes. And we've got to look at our national attitude. Because we have created, if we have monsters in government, we have helped to create them by what we demand of them. See, we demand these things, and when we don't get it, then we go on to the defensive. And all of our guts start hanging out about what we're vexed about. Mm-hmm. And behind the scenes, we are maneuvering ourselves to get as much as we can when our party wins the government. And when we don't get it, then it's another story. But that's another story for another day.
Well, Doc, it has been a wonderful pleasure talking with you. I am sure E.J. Stewart in Canada enjoyed this conversation. He is all over this trend with his information and his agreement with what you are saying. So I know that you have a lot to contribute to the next generation of Bahamians. And I am going to direct people to the Josiah Institute where your bio is. So if they think you don't qualify to say what you're saying, they will find out that you do. That's fine, right?
Well, I have lived it. I have breathed it. I continue to breathe it. I continue to experience it. And I try my best. When I put a piece out for the public viewing, I try to be balanced in what I say. I try to give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
Sometimes it's difficult because there's very little credit that can be given. But you try to find a little piece of credit here and a little piece of credit there to make sure that you're giving people the just due.
Yes.
And Bahamians must read. They must read and read deeply. Don't just see something posted on Facebook and a couple seconds later you come back and you like it and then you're making comments that have no relationship
To the matter.
that has been written.
I quite agree. Well, you know the world will...
Read 6-10 paragraphs in 10 seconds and then like it. Just not that way. All right? And I want Bahamians to understand, do not be afraid to lose the nothing that you do not have. Because if you lose nothing, you still have nothing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. McCartney.
Can I go now, madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do appreciate having you on. We are going to have you back. Dr. Donald McCartney, PhD. He spent 50 years. He knows a little about everything. And he's going to be on. And his bio is on the JosiahInstitute.com. Just go to the section where the biographies are, and you will see that he is far more experienced than a lot of people to speak what he's speaking on. Doc, it's been a pleasure having you on, and we're going to do this again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Look forward to speaking with you.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, that was Dr. McCartney. I just love him. I call him my professor, my teacher, because he always orders me when I'm wrong and make sure I have it right. But Dr. Donald McCartney, he's a Bahamian. He's living in the United States, a PhD, organizational leadership. He has gotten a few degrees even since he's left the public service. So he's qualified to teach. He's taught with Barry University or for Barry University. He is the provost for the Josiah Institute for Leadership and Public Policy in the United States. And he is quite qualified concerning what he's saying. One day we're going to bring him back on and we're going to talk a little bit more. Probably when he's in Nassau, we'll have a little more discussion. Thank you, EJ, for being here. EJ from Canada was all day with us. I thank you. Your comments, you are very conscientious in regards to what you're saying. He is indicating, and EJ is saying that, he's one of the persons who left the Bahamas, and he's gotten quite a reception in Canada, benefits, opportunity. He is saying that the Bahamas should provide more opportunity for the Bahamian people. He is saying that we should focus, I think, on the natural resources. He said the world is watching us, saying, what is the Bahamas doing? The fact that all of these revelations has come about and nothing is being said in regards to the accountability for some of them. We have Priska online. She is saying hi, trust everything as well. She's telling us keep up the good work. Thank you, Priska, for joining us, for all of those who have joined us on this broadcast. This is a Grateful Friday. I talked about my story, what I'm grateful for at the beginning of the broadcast. But before we end, I would like to say, wish a wonderful Godspeed to Vanessa Divine Lady Clark. She is in Grand Bahama. She is a psalmist. She is a songstress. She has sang for me many times on occasions when I had to preach or when I had to speak. She's a wonderful woman of God. She is ill. She has having a benefit concert this weekend in Grand Bahama. So if you are in Grand Bahama, please go out and support. If you can't get to the concert and you can do something, send some money, some funding for her medical expenses, please do so. I'm going to try to do something very soon, Vanessa, but we want to give you well wishes. We want to know that we are praying for you. We know that the Lord is able to heal you. I talked about my testimony at the beginning of the program, how I was diagnosed with viral encephalitis. For 2 days I fought for my life, but the Lord brought me back from what the doctors had determined that I would not wake or I would not make the morning. But he brought me back, which means there is healing and God can heal. And so whatever you're facing, God can do it. And anyone who is actually in a serious illness, fight for your life. Healing can come. I just want to encourage you. It has happened. Viral encephalitis, fatal viral encephalitis means you have irreparable brain damage. Either you are totally paralyzed, you are helpless, or you are dead. And I am here today, which means God heals, and he certainly delivers. So I want to wish Vanessa Divine Lady Clark in Grand Bahama the best with her healing. We're praying for you. I'm going to invite the audience too to pray for her. Give her good energy and good wishes and good prayers that God would do a miracle in her life. Thank you all for joining me today. This is the last broadcast of the week. Next week, we are going to be talking with some of the principals of the Josiah Institute for Leadership and Public Policy, and we will talk about education in the Bahamas. We're going to focus on that matter, what the training of Josiah Institute is expected to yield, what's the benefits for the Bahamian people, for the government of the Bahamas. All of those things are going to be dealt with next week as we talk about the Josiah Institute for Leadership and Public Policy. If you need to reach me, you can reach me by WhatsApp. All of the information is online. Our website, the website www.bcpparty.org, www.bcpparty.org. If you wish, you can also go online, our YouTube channel, watch all of the videos of the Servant Leader Speaks. And as we end the day, I want to say hello to Caleb Harris in Georgia, Kenneth Roma is joining us now. For all of those who join us today, blessings on you, and may God bless and keep safe the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and have a wonderful, safe weekend. Blessings on you, Bahamas. Good afternoon.